for me, for the longest time, I was just always very stressed, very tense, always, And I was like, even when things were going well, I was like, okay, like just kind of like tense stress. And going back to my childhood, that's how my dad was. And as a kid, I didn't judge it as good or bad. I'm like, oh, that's how you should be. That's how you should live. That's how you should exist. Again, we just take it in. And we never go back to examine what we took in and what we believe. If your parents, again, were divorced, you might fall for people who are in long distance, long distance relationships, people who are already in a relationship and you're on the side, people who cheat on you. If your parents' relationship was very flat, it might be the same thing. It might be relationships where you're more like friends and it lacks that spark. But it's very important to examine this. What relationship do my parents have? What about friends of the family that I saw? What are some of the beliefs? If I write down relationships equal ... what comes up? You might even have different labels. Relationships equals settling down. There's a big one. And then you're going to keep pushing it away or self-sabotaging because you don't want to settle down. Relationships equal loss of freedom, trapped, fighting, betrayal. If you don't work on that and there's that lack of trust, that's not a relationship. If you don't trust your partner, you're not in a relationship. That's something to dive into as well. A lot of people have it. I have many clients that I coach who have this worry, my partner's going to cheat, my partner's going to cheat. And it goes to levels that are insane, to the point where there was one client that comes to mind right now. He was dating this girl in another country, and he had massive trust issues. And it goes back to trauma he experienced as a child. And he's always afraid of being betrayed, and the betrayal goes down to being disrespected. So the fear of being disrespected. And he would rather, for example, his partner say, hey, listen, I'm cheating on you, and find out, like it would hurt, but the worst thing for him was his partner cheating on him and them kind of laughing at him behind his back. Like, oh, he doesn't even know that we're cheating, and that lack of being disrespected. And that would run him. He would not be able to help it. He'd be there and he's like, well, I got to text her, she sent me this on Facebook, and I'm looking at her Facebook every day to make sure she is where she said she is. She's out with these friends, and he's looking up literally the profile of her friends, asking her all about it. To the point where, and we're working on this, and he was finally able to let go of it, but it reached a point where he was telling me, I left a box of condoms at her place. I'm like, okay. And he's like, this will be the test to know if she cheated. Because if I go there and I see there's a condom missing, I know she cheated. I'm like, okay. And I also know that if she say, used a condom and then replaced it, or used all of them and replaced it, I wrote down the serial number of the condoms, so I will know if they are the same ones or not. Right? Now, this sounds crazy, but it's actually very common. People are like that. I'm sure you have many friends that might be you, or you might have dated someone like that. They're just super obsessed. They have to know every little detail. There's that lack of trust. That is something to dive into and work on. Until you do, you can go for a new partner, and hope this time it'll be different. You're going to keep repeating the same patterns. It'll just be different faces.